Hi, it's Tony Chapman, and welcome to Chatter That Matters. It's a podcast where we cut through the clutter to focus on what matters most to your life and your livelihood. Thanks to the incredible support of RBC, we are focusing the next 10 episodes on the heart of our economy, small businesses. Small business matters, and it's in our collective interest to keep them beating strong. We'll travel across Canada. We'll meet small business owners across a number of industry sectors: tourism and hospitality, healthcare, technology, and many, many more. We'll learn about the owners' dreams and aspirations and their challenges and how they're managing since COVID-19 has essentially shut down our economy. We'll then seek the advice of some of Canada's top thought leaders to provide the entrepreneur, well, all of us, with timely and much-needed insights, ideas, and inspiration. Small business matters. RBC and I both believe that when we personalize an individual story, we also take their challenges and quests personally. In doing so, we'll continue to rally support and commitment for this very important sector. In this episode, you're going to meet Traci Shepheard, a freshly minted entrepreneur. She left a promising career to start a business that reflects her lifelong passion for health and wellness. Her pursuit's going to strike an emotional chord with many who crave being their own boss and earning a living doing what they love. You'll find that Traci gets immediate acceptance and validation for her idea, which gives her the confidence to invest her life savings to launch MeditationWorks, a mobile meditation service that comes to you. But the wheels come off completely when COVID-19 turns her dreams into a nightmare. But what's so magical about this story for you and me is how Traci deals with her stress, begins to reinvent to reflect today's reality, and responds to the advice of her experts. Traci, welcome to Chatter That Matters.
Thank you, Tony.
How would you describe MeditationWorks, and what's your website so people can get hold of you?
MeditationWorks is a mobile studio, and we come to you. We deliver mindfulness meditation training on board our mobile studio, and our website is meditationworks.com.
Prior to becoming an entrepreneur, what did you do for a living?
Well, I had a pretty exciting career, Tony. I spent close to 24 years in beverage, alcohol, sports, and entertainment, the lion's share of that in the beer business. And it was an amazing journey, bringing thrill of a lifetime experience to life. And I was very fortunate to participate in many of those, often which were bucket list experiences for many people.
So I spent a little bit of time researching Traci's career as part of this interview. And what she was called was an overachiever. Now, we often paint overachievers as ambitious, only caring about their own numbers. But in this case, nothing could be further from the truth. When people talked about Traci, whether it was her peers or the clients she worked with, they held her in the highest regard. So Traci, 24 years in, earning a great paycheck, what made you choose now to become an entrepreneur?
Well, Tony, it was many years of having various health and wellness ideas. One day, the idea of mobile meditation popped into my brain, and I kept thinking, how could I create an experience that was accessible, convenient, and easy to bring to people to improve their own health and wellness on a regular basis?
Full marks. First of all, she's following her passion. And I love entrepreneurs that do what they love and love what they do. Second thing is she's zeroed in on an insight that's driving a lot of the new economy: convenience. The skip the dishes and Shopify that bring the world to you. So Traci, you have this idea, mobile meditation. How do you know whether it's going to make sense? What kind of homework did you do?
I'm such a visual person. I started Googling mobile meditation in Canada, extended my search to experiences, etc., and nothing came up other than a lot of really great brick and mortar studios that are across the country. I then extended my search into the United States, and I found these trailblazers, really exceptional people that had similar ideas, somewhat different in execution than what I pictured in my mind. And it was comforting, especially to think that I saw this idea in my mind and there were people out executing it elsewhere. I reached out to all of them, and pretty much immediately they all responded back. The thing that struck me the most about these people is their their positivity, their encouragement, and more than that, how much they wanted to help me to bring this to market in Canada.
But where Traci now needs to convince me is consumers frame a category. They're often unwilling to change their perspective. I bet you if I asked 100 consumers to describe meditation or wellness studios, they talk about teak wood and soft scents, maybe a fountain and solitude. I don't think it's something driving up to my door. How are you going to make an impression with a mobile studio that's strong enough to shatter my existing perceptions about what wellness studios are?
I truly wanted to be positively disruptive. I looked back on what I'd been a part of most of my career, and it was rock star, sometimes aspirational experiences. Matthew McConaughey.
I'm in my car. I'm listening to rock and roll. Action. And there's the chick.
And Lenny Kravitz. They both own an Airstream.
All right.
And I thought, wow, that's a pretty cool experience. People look at that. It's a silver bullet. More than that, an Airstream is synonymous with a life well lived, and that's completely in line with the experience and with the ethos of what I want to bring to life.
You validated the idea with U.S. partners. You've got the perfect vehicle, but now you got to test drive the idea in Canada. How do you go about doing that?
I reached out to a lot of clients from my business career whose opinions and their go-to-market strategies I respect. But more than that, those who had employee wellness at the core of importance to them. Immediately when I showed them the logo about MeditationWorks, they loved the pause button because everyone gets the pause button. They know what taking a pause means. However, as soon as I showed the image of the Airstream and the digital renderings that I'd had done, people's eyes just lit up. They're like, that's so cool. And it was amazing the number of people that they've had Airstreams as a dream of something that they want to personally own. And they just wanted to get on board. And that was what was thrilling for me, because this is an idea in my mind, and to show people a concept on paper and then for them to picture themselves there and then explain the idea to their colleagues. It was coming to life through other people's eyes. It was something that was very validating.
So Traci walks out of these meetings thinking she's going for a test drive, and they want to actually drive this. They want this business. So she has to go over an overdrive. She buys the Airstream. She polishes it so shiny the sun reflects on it back in outer space. She pours more money into outfitting it, creating her website and a logo. She's got the type of endorsement that she's now thinking in her mind, I'm not just going to have one Airstream. Over time, I can have dozens of the Airstreams, helping hundreds, if not thousands, of people find that nice oasis, that pause from their hectic life. She's ready to turn on the ignition, and the engine falters. It's not on her Airstream, but it's the Canadian economy. COVID-19 stopping everything in its tracks, especially a mobile meditation studio where people meditate inside a closed vehicle, even one as breathtaking as Traci's. So I asked her what it felt like to ride this roller coaster, the dream, the doing, the affirmation from her clients, to suddenly looking over and realizing this whole sea of uncertainty.
It was very uncomfortable. There's a phrase in meditation and mindfulness called the monkey brain or the monkey mind. It's about restlessness and unease and ricocheting of thoughts and emotions. I can honestly say I felt like the entire jungle showed up in my head. At no point did I ever anticipate that this was going to happen, especially when I confirmed 2 large corporations that wanted to pilot my business. I had and have had many sleepless nights.
How are you retooling and rethinking your business based on this uncontrollable situation called COVID-19?
I shifted gears with my digital marketing company, 44 North, and I asked them to launch a section of our guided meditations and with instructions on how to, making it simple and easy for people who have never done it before. And taking that breath, that pause, and resetting yourself in the midst of the stress and pressure. It was my way to get out meditation for people right now who could really use it. Obviously, it's going to the website and clicking on the links and choosing which one works best for you. And we're also looking at other avenues and ways to shift, because the intention wasn't online. It was in person, because mindfulness is an experience, and it's so powerful to meditate with people in a community.
So MeditationWorks, if my listeners go to there, they can get free content from you on how to take a pause during the day.
Correct. Yes.
Traci, before I get into talking to the experts about your business, I got to ask you an honest question. Because a year ago at this time, you had that great job. Do you have any regrets?
Absolutely not. It's been a bit of a roller coaster ride, but no, I don't regret it. I believe in the end, you only regret the chances you don't take. It sounds cliche, but it's true. You look at what they say at people's life's end, and it's always what they didn't do. And I wanted to try this. I wanted to bring it to life. And a very dear girlfriend of mine said that I've been talking about this or some way, shape of this since I was in my 20s. And I'd rather do something. And I know meditation is about being, but I wanted to be truthful to myself and action an idea that I believe is needed right now and in the future.
Traci, you're amazing. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go talk to 3 experts about your business and your story. Denise Rosato, who's the partner at a creative shop called Broken Hearts Love Affair. Corby Fine, an e-commerce aficionado. Talk to you about, the whole web strategy. And Lori Darlington, the VP of Small Business and Strategy at RBC. I must give a huge shout out to RBC for sponsoring the Small Business Matters series on Chatter That Matters, and for running excerpts on 67 radio stations across Canada. I'm a big fan of RBC, not just because they're one of the world's best run and most respected banks. It's because of what they do to help all of Canada. Take Future Launch, a $500 million investment to help Canadian youth find and pursue their path in life. Or the investment RBC makes in arts and culture, in amateur sports, and in building our new economy. When COVID-19 hit, RBC stepped up with millions of dollars to support food banks and essential services. And they had only one ask for this series. Don't make this show about RBC. Make it about the small business heroes. And speaking of heroes and their quest, let's get back to see what the experts have to say. Traci, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you, Tony.
I spoke to 3 experts about your business and your story and your passion. And I have to tell you, you made a huge impression. My first expert is Denise Rosato from Broken Heart Love Affair. She's one of the top creative minds in Canada, and she also meditates. And here's what she had to say about the path you're on.
What was different about hers is she said she wanted to give people a rock star experience. Now, I think that's her brand, and I think that's going to be her purpose. She's going to have to be an expert on being a rock star experience of meditation. If you look at meditation right now, every single word associated with it is calm. Nobody uses the word rock star experience.
I was also curious what Denise thought about was the market opportunity. Did she think this was the right time to be launching a mobile meditation studio?
I was also reading on what's really trending right now and what people are buying, and it was kind of heartwarming and sad to see that the sales of stuffed toys has gone up by 400%. It just told me that people out there are looking for something to make them feel better and in control and comforted during this time.
Finally, I said to Denise, what else do you think Traci can be doing?
She is living through something where she has to put what she believes into the test. And I think there's something really empowering about that, to hear somebody who, okay, does this meditation stuff really work? Can you really deal with a stressful situation like this through meditation? And she's going to be living proof of that, of how she's dealing with things. And I would love to follow somebody or be exposed to somebody who's going to show me how meditation can help me through this particular time.
Corby Fine has built an incredible career building brands online. First thing I asked him, because you're a small business, is can small businesses compete with multinationals who spend millions on their online experience?
The small company has a huge opportunity, though, which is it doesn't really matter how slick and fancy it might be. The key is don't do stupid things. For the small company right now, it's just really important to remember that your target customer is being inundated with all kinds of other things that aren't relevant and they didn't ask for. So take a step back and keep it really clean and simple. That's the opportunity, but make it meaningful. Hit the key points. And as you know, you and I have talked about, Tony, if you know something about what that customer is looking for, then use it.
I asked Corby, in this world where everything is free, how can Traci find a place to make money from her content?
I don't think it's unfair to ask the customer to pay for something that you fundamentally believe is going to add value to their lives. And so, you know, my grandmother used to teach me all the time, if you don't ask, you don't get. And I think this is the perfect example for one of those times where asking customers because you fundamentally believe the value, you've put a lot of time and effort into building the platform, they're absolutely, it's a fair question and a fair ask.
And then interesting enough, Corby came up with a huge idea for you when he talked about how companies have already made a statement about wellness.
I know she spent a lot of time doing her research, building the concept of her business, and it's very structured around this notion of meditation. I'd recommend that Traci spend some time making sure she understands what do all of the potential customers that she's got in her target actually call that thing. The reality is there are so many different things and terms and words that the average person uses for this concept. So I would just make sure that she understands not just to pigeonhole herself as a meditation service, but as whatever the customer is calling its service. And that will open up all kinds of new windows that she might not have seen before.
The final expert I went to was Lori Darlington, VP of Small Business and Strategy at RBC. And when we think of banks, we always think about people reading spreadsheets. But you'll hear in her voice what she thinks of your idea.
Some of the things I loved the passion that she has for her business. I love that she took the time to deeply understand her business and find others outside of Canada that she could connect with and understand the challenges and really learn from their mistakes. And it's really important for small business owners to know that they don't have to go it alone. And I think it's amazing that Traci recognized that and realized that and reached out to other businesses to be able to talk through and understand where that opportunity was.
And then I asked Lori, but these are uncertain times. What can Traci do to make sure she keeps her business afloat so that she can come out strong?
There is a lot of net new programs that are being offered by both the government as well as financial institutions. Traci should take some time and really understand these programs and how they may be able to help her to weather the storm. The Canada Emergency Business Account, for example, was announced by the Government of Canada at the end of March, and it's really intended to help eligible small businesses pay for operating expenses, payroll, other non-deferrable expenses, which are critical to sustain their business continuity. Also, in addition to employment insurance, there's some net new government programs in place now, such as the Canada Response Benefit, that is intended to help those who are self-employed to really help to withstand this slowdown.
You know, Traci, what really surprised me about Lori, she never uses the word RBC, even though they're sponsoring this podcast, because she just cares about your business. She doesn't care where you go. She just wants you to go to the place for advice. Give me a sense of your first impression of the advice they've offered you.
I truly appreciate the feedback of each of these individuals, as obviously they're experts in their own industries, and for them taking the time to share this expertise with me while I'm navigating, admittedly, a bit of this new journey that's out of my comfort zone. The key points that I found were very interesting about me being the brand, and that was something actually been, I don't want to say deflecting, but going into more meditation being the mission and not less focus on myself. So that's an interesting takeaway. I'm excited that they like the rock star experience, that differentiating point, because that's something that I truly wanted to be integral to the experience. Small business mattering, less is more, and focusing on what matters. I truly aligned with that thinking and strategy. Monetizing, that's something in obviously the new reality that I would appreciate perspective, because I feel like right now the right thing to do is to provide guided meditation at no cost. I'm thrilled to hear that RBC isn't only passionate about profit, they're also passionate about people.
I want to give you some final thoughts. I hope you take it as intended. So it might be months, even a year, before people are willing to get into close quarters, even tucked into one of your luxury pods. But MeditationWorks doesn't need an Airstream. Your idea of coming to the customer and their employees, to helping these individuals find that oasis in the middle of a hectic day, is not only insightful, it's paramount to how we're going to recover as an economy, because people are going to work so hard. Find another way to create those rockstar experiences. Listen to Corby and take over the wellness room, or bring in new pods and cleaning protocol. Put on meditation clinics in boardrooms or through individual headsets. MeditationWorks will work because of Traci Shepheard. She's following her passion and her desire and a higher purpose to help the emotional and physical health and well-being of Canadians everywhere. Traci Shepheard, here's to your success.
I can't thank you enough, Tony, for including me, giving me the opportunity to be a part of this.
All right.
That's amazing. You've been listening to Chatter That Matters with Tony Chapman. To find details on how RBC supports its business clients, visit rbc.com/business. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. You can connect with Tony on Twitter @Tony Chapman, through LinkedIn @Tony Chapman Reactions, or visit his website, TonyChapmanReactions.com. Chatter That Matters is produced by Tony Chapman Reactions and Eye Contact Productions.